Good morning, Knicks Nation. Today is Thursday. It is the 9th day of June 2022. I hope you're safe and healthy today. I hope that you and your family, in terms of food and shelter and clothing as well as health, are being met today, those needs. Blessings upon those that work in the healthcare field and the first responders who are out here every day, police and firemen and emergency room workers trying to save lives. And EMT people as well. Blessings upon those also that pick up garbage for us from streets and sidewalks and parkways and parks and highways to keep them clean. Blessings also upon those that make deliveries for us, that deliver food in big trucks to supermarket, those that deliver food and pizzas and Grubhub and Uber and all of those people for our convenience. Double blessings on the men and women that are out here in various forms trying to help deliver and rescue the children who are the victims of child molestation and pedophilia. And those who are the victims of pornography and child pornography, prostitution and child prostitution, human trafficking and sex slavery, and double curses on those perpetrators, perverts, and profiteers who do these things and profit also in human misery. Finally, blessings upon the homeless. Nearly 600,000 men, women, and children in the United States that Babylon has crapped out, and millions around the world in similar or worse conditions, and blessings upon them, for theirs is the kingdom. Today I want to talk about, before the New York Knicks, a couple of things. Number one, I want to revisit Tari Eason. I talked about, and I put it in the description box, I talked about Tari Eason about 3 months ago. He was probably, him and Mathurin were the first two players that caught my eye in the college basketball game during this past season. There was three really. It was Jabari Smith, which I didn't think we had a chance to get because he was going to be, to me, even from then, he was the number one pick, I thought. And then there was also, of course, I mentioned Tari, and there was Mathurin. At that time, nobody really had those guys on their radar except Smith. But now everybody's got them on their radar. Now, a couple things. Sometimes, brethren, over the years, I've noticed, and some of you can understand what I'm about to say, narratives are driven by media, not necessarily by facts. Also, people with large platforms have more pull, more sway, more influence on the narratives. So like somebody that's on an ESPN, for example, a huge platform, multi-billion-dollar platform, whatever they say is going to have a sway in the marketplace because of the platform that they're on. And so sometimes, this can be anything. Like, for example, the reason I brought that up is my man, Mark Berman. I say my man because, I respect Mark Berman, but sometimes he's a drama queen, and he can sometimes use his platform to sway a narrative that's not necessarily good for the New York Knicks. Case in point, he loves Dyson Daniels. I mean, he loves that. He mentioned when they interviewed him, he mentioned when they worked him out, and he's sure when they get there that they're going to draft him. And it swayed a lot of opinions because Mark Berman has a major platform in New York. Everybody knows Mark Berman. If you follow the New York Knicks at all, you've heard of Mark Berman, right? Maybe they don't know him, in Chicago or in LA, but they know him in New York, and New York is a huge platform. So I keep hearing this Dyson Daniels, and I'm really hoping that the Knicks do not pick him. Okay. And why? Because look, we're going to talk about Tari Eason, but I also want to just mention to you a couple of other players later. Some of you have been coming at me with all these guys later in the draft or second round, and I don't see much, but there's some stuff out there. Some example, like Jalen Williams. I think everybody now knows that Jalen Williams out of Santa Clara has played his way, up the draft board. Now, whether that means high second round or low first round, we don't know, but he has played his way up the draft board. Jalen Williams is 6'5", 6'6". He's 21. He really showed out during the, he played and showed out during the scrimmages. He averaged 18 a game. He's solid, 209 pounds. physical, so he showed game during the combine. And so he helped his stock. He's one of those guys that helped his stock. But there's another kid, like if you like Dyson Daniels, right, who everybody's trying to project in the lottery. There's another kid that I like. And I noticed this kid while I was looking at Benedict Mathurin. See, when I was watching the games, Arizona games, reviewing Mathurin, this kid kept popping out. They would put him on all of the most difficult defensive assignments. And he played really good defense. Defense always catches my eye. Okay. And that was Dalen Terry. Dalen Terry, is also going to be 20. He's 19, going to be 20, 6'7", 195 pounds, 7'1" wingspan. And the kid could play defense. He also doesn't shoot the ball well, like Dyson Daniels. He doesn't also take bad shots though. He's not a guy to force any shots. Very under control type player. Second round guy. I would take him before I took Dyson Daniels. And the reason is because he can play the point or the shooting guard. He has the 7-foot wingspan. You can get him in the second round, which means you're not paying him guaranteed top 10 money. Okay. And so I would rather him. If I'm going to go after a Dyson Daniels, I'll take Dalen Terry. And for Dalen Terry, we got the 42nd pick, right? We can trade the 42nd pick. We got a plethora of second round picks next year. I can't tell you, we got at least 3 next year. We could trade a couple of those and we can move up and get a Dalen Terry in the second round. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. Why would I pick a Dyson Daniels who can't shoot in the top 10 when I have a point guard that I know can shoot and played in the same league and made it look so easy that people just jumping over? That's G League. Why would I do that? And some of y'all tried to tell me that it's unfair for me to compare Deuce McBride to Dyson Daniels because Dyson Daniels is 19 and Deuce McBride is 20. Are you kidding me? You're trying to come into the league. You're going to be competing with Deuce McBride for a job. Of course you're going to compare them. They're both going to be young players trying to make their way in the NBA. Dyson Daniels is trying to come in and play with grown men, y'all. This is the league. So yeah, you're going to compare them. And no, he's not as good as Deuce. No. So no, I wouldn't take him. I hope they don't. I hope Mark Berman never said Tom Thibodeau favors Dyson Daniels. He never said any Knicks management. He just keeps bringing his name up. See, there's a difference. When you hear a name being brought up by a reporter versus when you hear Knicks management saying, I want Dyson Daniels, or he has fans in Knicks management, or they're really looking at him hard. That's when you might want to look at it. But I've been hearing Berman spout off this kid's name without the Knicks, saying anything. And Ty Washington wasn't interviewed in Chicago. They brought him in for a workout. I think they're just doing due diligence. That's what I think. Okay. But if you told me they wanted a guard, and this is another thing, it's a point guard obsession with Mr. Berman. And I think it's spreading through Knicks Nation. We got a point guard. We got him. Okay. I cannot wait till the summer league. I really cannot wait till the summer league because I want Deuce to have that ball in his hand and everybody going to be tripping when he start blowing it up. Okay. But we already got a point guard. But if they wanted another guard, I would go get Dalen Terry. So let's make an assumption for this. See, I'm talking about Tari Eason and I'm getting to that right now. Let's make a couple of assumptions. The Knicks, I told y'all yesterday, the Knicks, like every team, but especially the Knicks, because this management is tight. Some of y'all can't recognize yet because you don't see a championship or you don't see playoff basketball. You don't understand. It starts, again, in the management office. That's where it starts. You don't see an oak tree, a thick trunk oak tree that's 50 feet tall when it's a seedling. But under the ground, the seeds are growing and the roots are gritting deep. And then all of a sudden you start seeing a little tree, then it blows up. Till all of a sudden you come back 10 years later and you say, whoa, that's the seed, that's the seedling. Some of y'all need to see the tree before you understand there's seedlings already growing. But that's happening already in the Knicks front office. They already started. If you follow ball for a while, a lot of y'all, and I think some of y'all quote and understand what I'm saying. You see it. It's already started. Okay. By the time some people recognize, it's already been growing already. Okay. So right now, the Knicks management has multiple scenarios. That's what smart management does. They have multiple scenarios that keeps them flexible to be able to make a move if they can move up, if they can move up a lot, a little bit, not at all, or trade down. Okay? Multiple scenarios. So in a scenario where you can't make a deal for Jaden Ivey, you can't get up and get to Portland 7 and select Mathurin or whoever you like at 7. Me, it's Mathurin. To me, the two guys for the Knicks up at the draft board, I'm not going to count again the top 3. We can't get up there. So I'm not worried about Jabari Smith, Chet Holmgren, or Banchero. I know we're not getting them. But can I get Jaden Ivey? Can I get Benedict Mathurin? I like those 2 kids. So if I can get them, I'm going to move up and try to get them. Let's say, for the sake of this argument, we can't do that. Okay? We couldn't make a deal. So now those kids are off the board. Keegan Murray is off the board. Dyson Daniels, hopefully, is off the board. Jeremy Sohan is off the board. Now it's our pick at 11. Okay? So if we're not making a deal to trade down, we're not going to. If we drafted a Mark Williams, it's for us to trade down. If we're drafting a Jalen Duren, it's for us to trade down. I'm trying to explain to you. Some of y'all still don't get it. Don't compare college guys with pro guys on the same level. The NBA is the most difficult league in the world. So that if a guy is averaging 10 rebounds in the NCAA, that does not mean he's going to average 10 rebounds in the league. It's the league, yo. It's a different scenario. Okay? There have been many players that ball out in college and just can't even make the league. Y'all need to understand that. This is the league. Don't look at college tape and see a guy say, oh, he's better than this NBA player right now. That's very rare. It's very rare. Okay? Especially at 2 positions, point guard and 5. The 2 difficult positions to learn in the NBA. Don't try to do that. So any 5 is going to take time, to come around. Say, for example, a couple of years ago, like 3 years ago, there was a draft, and the best 5 in that draft, when was this? It was not that year, 2020, the Anthony Edwards draft. The best 5 in that draft to me was Onyeka Okongwu out of USC. Atlanta has him. And you don't hear nothing about him, but he's coming. He's in the rotation. He's not dominating, but he's going to. But he's taking time. See, you ain't hear nothing about him now. Okay? Because he's developing. It takes 5's time to develop. And he's got Clint Capella in front of him. Clint Capella, who's been in the league for a minute. Okay? So, don't think that some Jalen Duren or Mark Williams is going to come in and play right away. Y'all need to wake up. This is the league. Okay? So not going to happen. Very rare. You get and it's like, that's why you talk about a kid like a LaMelo Ball who comes in as a rookie and does what he does. That's special. That don't happen all the time. That's why I said about Ball at the time. I said it's boom or bust. He's 50-50. He could blow up or he could bust out. And he blew up. Okay? But that's the type of it's very rare. Look at Pat Williams taken 4th overall. Still, I think I liked him for the Knicks. Remember that? Pat Williams out of one of my favorite programs, Florida State, with Leonard Hamilton and them. Chicago took him. And you can see he's coming. He's not like the star yet, but he's coming. It's going to take time. Nobody just comes in right away and dominates. Okay, it's just rare you get a Luka or a LaMelo Ball or somebody that comes in right away and just shows out in the league. It doesn't happen like that. And especially, again, at the 2 difficult positions, the point guard position and the 5. Number 2, y'all need to really understand who your coach is. I mean, you hating on Thibs, and I understand that, but he's still a coach. So don't ever believe that some point guard gonna come in and play. They're not. There's a process. With Thibs, rookies don't play that much, period. But if they do, it's not a point guard. IQ got minutes in his rookie year as an off guard because he could shoot. That's why he was, remember the floater, the three? That's why he was getting minutes off the bench, because he could shoot. If he was a strict point guard, you wouldn't see that. That's not Thibs. So if you get any kid that's coming in as a point guard, forget it. They're not playing. I'm telling you right now, they're not playing. I don't care who they are. Not in this draft. Okay? So all this point guard obsession is killing me, man. I'm like, what are these guys talking about? And so Dyson Daniels, some of y'all say, well, he's not strictly a point guard. He's a wing or whatever. Okay. So you got Cam. You got who's going to be fighting for his job. You got Grimes, who's already proven on both sides of the ball in the league as a rookie. And of course, you got RJ. And we ain't even trade Evan Fournier yet. Where is this kid going to play? We just had a guy at the point guard spot that was out of position in Burks. And he's a proven vet. Here you talking about Dyson Daniels can't even shoot? Come on, y'all. Come on, let's wake up a little bit. Don't let the hype get y'all, man. Don't let the catnip get y'all. All right, that's what I'm saying. So let's assume we don't get Mathurin and we don't get Ivy, right? And Sohan is taken. Okay. Now, to me, in that scenario, I'm trying to get Tari Eason. He's after Sohan on my board. All right. So you got, I want Ivy. I want Mathurin. I love Sohan. But if he's not there, I want Tari. Okay. Now, whether you get Tari or Sohan, that's telling you one of the power forwards on the Knicks is not going to be on the roster in training camp. Okay. And again, I'm betting on Obi staying. He's cheaper than Randle. He showed out at the end of last year. He earned his minutes. Thibs even said that. And he's from New York. And on top of all of that, Leon picked him. That was Leon's first pick as the New York president of basketball operations. I don't know why people are ignoring these things, but everything I just said matters. Okay. And then some people thinking we got to give Randle away. I've been hearing some podcasts been driving me crazy. I'll be like, what? Look, first of all, y'all got to remember, this is the NBA. Again, some of y'all, okay, look, this ain't NBA 2K. It's the real deal. This is the league. All right. So look, if you could get a player that's taking up maybe 20% of your cap and you add him to a superstar, you got something. Okay. Any NBA player. So I'm talking about in Randle's class of player, the $25 million class, which right now is not the superstar class. The superstar class right now is 30, 40 million. That's the superstar class. 30, 40 million. Your Kawhi Leonard, your Kyrie Irving, your Durant, your Stephen Curry, your Klay Thompson. That's the superstar class. The star class where you good, but you're not carrying the team. That's your $25 million dude. That's Randle. So Randle is not a number one option. He was brought to New York to see if he can be, and he's not. He's not that guy. It's not just me that recognizes that. I think all New York recognizes that, but more importantly, the league recognizes that. But that doesn't mean he's not without value. You pair him with a superstar. Like Berman been talking about forever now. We need a blockbuster to get a superstar. You know, the Knicks are not in that position, but there are other teams that will want to do that. You pair him with a Damian Lillard. You pair him with a Kawhi Leonard, a Luka Doncic. You pair him with a superstar where he's coming on the team. And this is it. It's all up here for Julius. We see that. He's a head case. And I mean, in terms of like sometimes he act like he need meds because he just trips out, right? Because he's not the number one dude. But if he comes into a situation, let's say again in Portland or Sacramento, where he understands coming in, you not that guy here. This is not your team. He's going to be a different player. Okay. And you've seen it in other scenarios. For example, with Tim Hardaway Jr. And I'm not comparing him attitude because Tim Hardaway has a great attitude. But I'm talking about Tim Hardaway Jr. was signed by the Knicks to be a second or third option behind Kristaps Porzingis and Carmelo Anthony. But of course, Carmelo got traded and was on the downslope. And then of course, Kristaps always hurt. And by virtue of that, de facto, Tim Hardaway became the number one option. He did not always look good in that position because he's not a natural number one option. But when you put him next to Luka Doncic in Dallas, he becomes looking like a star because he's not expected to carry the team. Different situation. And so when he was traded there, he knew going in he wasn't going to be the number one option. He knew that. That's Julius' situation. So you put Julius on a team where he knows he's not the number one option. And it's close whether he actually would be the second option because Anthony Simons was balling last year. So you bring in him in that scenario and you got a different player. And why? Because you see, when Julius Randle has to be the number one option, the ball sticks. He gets the ball and he has to make decisions with it. And he's just not good at doing that. But if the ball is in Dame's hand or in Anthony Simons' hand or in Luka Doncic's hand or in De'Aaron Fox's hand, and he knows this, that they are the number one options, he's now working to get opportunities. There's no guarantee he's going to get a whole bunch of touches. And when he gets the opportunities now, he's the guy that they swing the ball to. He's not the guy that has to swing the ball. He's the one that he ends up with the rock with a one-on-one situation, a mismatch, and that's where Randle becomes dangerous. Now, somebody would ask, well, why does he do that in New York? Because he's the man here. He'll never do that here. He will never acquiesce and let RJ be the man because he saw RJ as a rookie. He don't have that kind of respect. Okay? If you brought a Jalen Brunson in here, Brunson would demand. That's the type of kid Brunson is. He would demand that you give him that respect. And I believe Randle would. But the Knicks ain't getting Jalen Brunson. I've been hearing people, even this week, the Knicks are still trying to get they're not getting Jalen Brunson. Rick Brunson signed here because he's with Tom Thibodeau. His son ain't coming. Some people just need to wake up and get over it. That boy's staying in Dallas. Why would, look. Let's be real now, Knicks Nation. You're Jalen Brunson, okay? How old is Jalen? Let's say you're Jalen Brunson, all right? You've been playing in the NBA for the minimum, okay, for 4 seasons. You've been playing in the NBA for the minimum for 4 seasons, okay? Now you just, in your 4th season, your contract season, you have a breakout season, right? And you now are in the conversation for $20 million per season. You were just making 1.8. You were drafted in the 2nd round and you got the opportunity by this owner, Mark Cuban, who drafted you and gave you the opportunity to be the man next to the legend, next to a maestro. So you telling me, after you waited all this time, somebody in New York says, we're going to let you have the team, but we can only give you 4 years, $80 million. Versus Mark says, listen here, Jalen, I'm going to give you 5 years, $100 million. So you're telling me you're going to turn down $20 million playing next to Luka Doncic, just coming out of the Western Conference Finals to come to New York for $20 million less. You're going to do that? No, seriously. You're telling me you would do that? See, that's the rationale behind anybody that thinks the Knicks are going to get Jalen Brunson. You got to understand that. Cuban has stated publicly, we can pay him more than anybody else. Why would he say that? Cuban don't just pop off. He's ready to pay. Somebody said, well, they're in the luxury tax. That's right, they are. And you're going to see them shed some salary. They're going to do that. And then you're going to see them try to get a guy like a Mo Bamba with the mid-level exception. They can't get Mitchell Robinson. Mitchell Robinson won't leave New York with $56 million on the table to go take the mid-level exception in Dallas. Again, you're dealing with a kid that was 4 years being underpaid. He's not going to leave the team that could pay him the most to take less. NBA is not only a team sport, it's huge business. Okay? So, Jalen Brunson ain't coming. I'm just trying to be real with y'all. He ain't coming. Let's get off that train. I mean, I can't tell y'all what to think about, but I'm trying to set you up to not be disappointed. He's not coming to New York. Okay, so forget that. So now what? You got Deuce McBride. You got Emmanuel Quickly. That's what you got. Okay. Now you want to get a point guard that's a vet of some sort that, you might, okay. Some people are talking about D'Angelo Russell. He's available. I ain't gonna front. He's available. He don't want to be in Minnesota. Not in the role they had him in last year, where they were not playing him at crunch time because of his lack of defense. If you want him, he's available. The question is, does Thibodeau want him? Now, this is the thing, too. You need to understand. Yes, and now some of y'all make good points. Thibodeau should not be the one making decisions about the roster. You right. That's Leon's job. But you need input from him. If they'd have listened to him a little bit last year, we wouldn't have Kemba Walker in here. And wouldn't have wasted a whole bunch of time with all the media attention around him when he really was only playing on one leg. Thibodeau did not want him. Okay? So in some cases, you got to listen to your coach a little bit. You got to weigh that. That's what you're getting the big bucks for, Leon. You got to weigh listening to Thibs versus the crowd that's in your office with you. So in the terms of D'Angelo Russell, I'm telling you, Thibs is going to say, no. For the reasons that D'Angelo was sitting on the crunch time last year. No defense. When they need to see, brethren, when you want to win in the playoffs, you win first with defense. By the way, some of y'all talking about it's going to be Golden State in 5. What y'all saying now? You're still saying Golden State in 5? I'm sticking with Boston in 6, as I've been saying. Anyway. So, no. I don't know if they're going to take a D-Lo. He's available. It's going to be 50-50. That's going to be a battle in the front office. Because I'm going to tell you, Thibs ain't going to want him. It's up to Leon, though. We're going to see what happens. But that's your only guy that you could really get that's a veteran, young vet that you can pay. And the thing I like the most about D'Angelo Russell, he's expiring. So that creates cap space for next summer that we have. Somebody said, well, what are we going to do with it? That don't matter. Flexibility means you got it. So that when you need it, you ready. That's all that matters. Flexibility. So, Tari Eason. So if we can get Tari, we could probably get him at around 15. Like I said, I'll come back to Charlotte. Because they got 2 picks in that area. We can get Tari. Tari needs some development. But he plays both sides of the basketball. You know, defense, raw Hebrew gonna pick up on the defense. The kid plays defense. And the boy can ball. And he would be coming off the bench, right? He wouldn't be starting. And he'd be coming off the bench behind Obi. Okay? So, and hopefully, there's one vet I would like to keep. That's Taj Gibson, who would also be a perfect mentor. Okay? So we have that. Now, as if we can't get Sohan. I got Sohan ranked ahead of him. But, Tari. Yes. Love Tari, man. Like Tari in the beginning. Sohan came on my vision late. Somebody, and I have to credit, I forgot who. Somebody kept saying, look at Sohan, look at Sohan. And finally I looked at him and said, oh, yes. I like him. But, Tari was on my radar first. Tari plays both sides of the ball. He does anything you want to do on the basketball court. Pass, shoot, rebound, run the floor. He does all of that. Okay? He just needs to be harnessed and refined and developed. And you're going to have something in 2 seasons with him. So, and we don't need him to be the superstar now. That's why we don't need him to average 20 a game. That's why we got Obi over there. So just develop him. Okay? And so, yeah. If we go get Tari, and if y'all still obsessed with getting a guard, I like Dalen Terry. 2nd round. Okay, let's trade down. 2nd round, we get Dalen Terry and Tari Eason. I would have no problem with that. Dalen Terry would probably spend his first year in the G League. Okay, no problem. Send him there. Okay, and then you just keep going with what you got. As far as Cam Reddish, this is why I keep coming back to Cam. I keep telling y'all, okay, listen to me carefully. Cam Reddish has number 1 option talent. I've been saying it. But his problem is availability. Availability. What did I say, y'all? Being available. That's the problem. And this is a big year for him. This kid gets hurt this year, he's done. So I don't know if Leon's going to roll that dice. Some of you like to roll the dice. I don't know if he's going to do it. I don't know. I think if he can move Randle and Fournier and Burks and have to include Cam in the deal, he's going to do that. Because Cam is a valuable chip to move some of these other contracts. Now, Cam could play completely healthy this year. And if he does, cream rises to the top. He's going to ball out. Okay, he is. But I don't know if Leon wants to risk it. So you got to think ahead. You got Grimes. Okay? If you want to move Fournier and get a young wing, let's say you could get a Mathurin. You need to make space for that boy. You need to make space for the young man. Okay? So that's a movement of Fournier and maybe Cam. So that's what I'm saying. So, but I do like, if they were able to get Benedict, right? I do like Deuce, IQ, Grimes, Benedict, Mathurin. I like those four with the 2 and the 1 spots. I love that. And if you have RJ and Cam rotating at the 3 spot, I have no problem. I have no problem. Okay. So we have to really, that's what I'm saying. We have to see how this works out. But if we had to trade down, I like the combination of Tari Eason. And if they wanted a guard that can play defense, give me Dalen Terry. He's not going to cost first round money, or at least not lottery money. I mean, he's going to be a second rounder. We can get him in the minimum like we got Jericho Sims and put him in the G League and he can come up like Jericho Sims. I like that better. That way you're not interfering with Deuce's development. I'm concerned with Deuce's development. That's why I'm looking forward to the Summer League, to put all this talk to rest. Really am. So, yeah, I'd like to get Dalen Terry instead of Dyson Daniels, and I'd like to get him in the second round if I could. And I'll trade 3 seconds to get him. This year's 142, this year's 42, and next year 2 of the million ones that we got for next year. You can take that and then give me Dalen Terry. And I'll sign him. Send him to the G League. Let him develop. Okay? So, that's my thing, man. So, I just wanted to give a little lesson today. Don't believe the hype. We're not that desperate for a point guard. And if you think Deuce is not ready or that he's a career backup, if you are mistakenly thinking that, which is your mistake, okay, you might get D'Angelo Russell. Okay? Because he's NBA player already versus somebody that can't shoot. Okay, so, okay, that's what I'm looking at. And we'll see what happens. I just really hope, because Berman is just parroting this Daniels like he ain't got nobody crazy, man. Come on, man. Stop it. So, we're going to see what happens. But that's my take. At 11, give me Sohan. Give me Tari Eason. Even if Sohan, you probably got to take him at 11. But Tari Eason, you could trade down a couple spots, maybe pick up a second round pick, get him, trade that second rounder with your 42, and then get Dalen Terry. The Don does stuff like that. So we're going to see what happens, y'all. In the meantime, I'm on my way to Orlando tonight. So the next time you'll see me, you'll be on location in Florida. Anyway, y'all enjoy the rest of this week. Happy Thursday to you.